Welcome to Lesson 3, the Drawing Tools, Trace Shapes. First, we're going to prepare our new document. We already went to File, New, choose Flash, ActionScript 2, because ActionScript 3 is for programmers. ActionScript 2 is for the general public. So now I'm going to resize my stage. I go to Modify, Document, and I'm going to make my stage 800 pixels because that'll give me just a little bit more room to draw if I need it. Oh, and I just clicked OK. Import the images. File, Import, Import to Library. So I'm going to go to File, Import, Import to Library, and I'm going to look for my support files for the class in Lesson 3's folder. So it's called 3 Trace Cat. I'm going to be choosing Basic Shapes, and if I hold my Shift key down, I can also choose Finished Cat and Modified Shapes just by clicking them. I can open all three. They're going to go to a library, so you won't see them appear on the stage, but they're going to go into a panel that's called the library. And to open up that panel, go to Window and then go to Library, and you'll see the library panel. And then you should be able to see your Basic Shapes ping, Finished Cat ping, and Modified Shapes ping. I'm going to pull out Basic Shapes ping and Modified Shapes ping. The Finished Cat is just one for you to look at your convenience. Choosing to Basic Shapes ping, I'm going to click it to highlight it, and then I'm going to pull it out onto the stage. And I'm just going to place it in the stage area. Then I'm going to scroll down to give myself a little more room and get Modified Shapes and drop that down onto the stage area. And now I can see both of them at the same time. I have to convert these into symbols, and in an upcoming lesson we're going to talk about what that means, but for now just follow the steps. Choose the image on your stage, and then go to Modify, Convert to Symbol, and we're going to call this one Basic Shapes GS for graphic symbol. Basic Shapes GS, and it's a graphic symbol. And I'm going to click OK. Do the same thing with the Modified Shapes. I'm going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol, call it Modified Shapes GS for graphic symbol, click OK. So now that they're converted into symbols, Flash can apply other programming features to them that it couldn't if they were just images on the stage. So I click the first one because I want to make this transparent so that we can use it to trace over. So I'm clicking the first image, and then all of my controls are going to be in this panel called Properties Inspector. So I go over to Properties Inspector, and with my first image selected, I'm going to choose underneath Color Effect something called Alpha. Alpha actually means transparency. Notice you can make things more transparent or less transparent depending on how you place the slider. Scroll down, click the second symbol, and go over to the color panel, color effect in the Properties Inspector, choose Alpha, and that one will become semi-transparent. Then the next thing we have to do is work with our Layers panel. So I'm going to add a new layer, and I am going to lock my layer that has my images in it, and I'm going to put this lock right here and rename this layer by clicking the text. I'm going to call this layer Trace. And the second layer I'm going to call My Artwork, because that's where I'm going to actually draw. Because these layers will hold whatever I'm placing on the stage. So in my artwork layer, make sure that my artwork layer is selected and that it's blue. and I'm going to start showing you how to use the drawing tools. Now, before I continue, I want to do one more utility thing. I want to take off the snapping, so I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to go to Snapping. And you see these check marks? We want to take those off. So I'm going to go down here to Edit Snapping and take off the snapping, because that makes me fully in control of how I'm going to draw things. Flash sometimes likes to snap drawing features into place, and I want to be in complete control myself. So I'm taking off the snapping. Now I'm going to also close my library so that we can see the stage area better. And I'm going to scroll up to this part of the image and start working with my drawing tools. The drawing tools are going to be in your toolbar, and the first thing that I'm going to do is before I make a rectangle for the body, I'm actually going to I'm going to start with a rectangle for the body. First of all, I'm going to click the rectangle, and then I'm going to go down here to this little tool right down at the bottom of the toolbar. It's called Object Drawing feature. Make sure that's turned on. So it's turned on when it is actually dark. It's turned off when it's light gray. It's turned on when it's dark. And with that tool turned on, I'm going to start making these shapes. Each shape that I make has a stroke and a fill. The stroke is the light green outside, the fill is the dark green inside. If I want to change the stroke and fill colors, before I make the object, I would go to this fill color picker and pick a different color, and then also to the stroke color picker and pick a different color. So I can change these colors before and after I draw. Now, let's see. Also, if I want to adjust the stroke size, with my whole object is selected, I can move over here and I can, in the Properties Inspector, change the stroke slider and adjust the size of my stroke. Okay, now I can go and hold my finger down, grab the oval tool, select an oval, and pull it out, and then grab the rectangle tool again and create a rectangle, and another rectangle for the front leg, another rectangle for the tail, and another oval for the head, and another rectangle for the ear. And you'll see how I managed to change this to a triangle. Because what I can do is go over here to my black arrow selection tool, and while this object is selected, you can see that it's selected because it has this little dark line around it in the stroke area. As soon as I move my cursor near the corner of that ear, I'm going to get a corner little line icon next to my arrow, and that means that I can move the corner inward. I can select the corner and move it inward, but sometimes, unless I zoom in magnification mode, it's kind of hard to do this. Let me try zooming in and see if that will make it a little easier. And it's not going to make it easier. So if I cannot push the corner in while it's packaged up in this drawing object form, I can do this to troubleshoot it. I can select the object like this, and then I can go to Modify, Break Apart, and that will allow me to work with this object or this graphic in its purest form. It's just a raw graphic on the stage, and then I can do some of these little tricks with it. And then I could select that little piece, oops, and push this downward and straighten it out, and there's my ear. So now I can grab the ear and move it over here. Doesn't matter if it's not exact fit, but I can zoom out with the magnify tool. Just use the Alt key to zoom out, click in the stage, And there are all of my pieces.